Hello, thank you for welcoming me. Maybe you were the kind of kid that I was. I was definitely the child that went down to the bottom of the garden looking for fairies, and I spent a lot of time crawling into various wardrobes looking for the entrance into an enchanted land. And I always really wanted a magic wand that worked. When I was 14, I got to be the Good Witch of the North in a production of The Wizard of Oz. And I got the tutu, and I got the point shoes, and I got a wand that did something. So if you did the arm movement exactly right, then it lit up and it went bring, and then nothing much happened. There are a lot of wands like that around. They sparkle and they make all of the right noises, and then nothing much really happens. And there is, of course, a reason why I'm telling you this. I've been an activist and campaigner working on issues surrounding our relationship with our bodies for 5 years now. And in that time, every single day, I witness the distress that it causes to people when they feel anxious about or disgusted by their own bodies, and the impact that it has on our lives. And I've learnt how dangerous a pitfall it can be to believe in magic wands. So today I want to talk to you about our relationship with our body, on the difficult process of letting go of magic wands, and what alternatives there might be, because I do believe that there are some, although, as my ballet teacher used to say, nobody said it was going to be easy. So I'm the co-founder of a local global initiative called Endangered Bodies. We fight across the world against those companies that try to make a profit from making us hate our own body. The UK chapter of Endangered Bodies is called Anybody UK. And with Anybody, we run workshops, campaigns, creative events. We lobby and advise government. We dialogue with industry. And we speak with many people from all age ranges and across all different walks of life. And the people that come to us all have one thing in common. They're tired of fighting a battle against their own body, or they're desperate to save somebody that they love from that battle. And let's face it, it's a bloody one. We are our bodies. Our body is the only place from which we can live. If you hate your body, you hate a massive aspect of yourself. If you're disgusted by your body, you're disgusted by a massive aspect of yourself. If you're not listening to your body, then you're not listening to yourself. And if you try to assemble your body to fit the instruction manual that our culture currently offers us, then you're doomed to a constant sense of failure. Our sense of our bodies is so tightly entangled with our sense of identity. And the more time we spend in hatred of our bodies or feeling anxious about our bodies, the more we come to see that body anxiety or body hatred as an integral part of our identity, and that makes it really hard to let go of it, even when it's making us feel miserable. The consequences are heartbreaking and backbreaking, and I think we're all increasingly coming to realize this. The awareness around these issues has been raised increasingly over the last few years, and we're seeing survey upon survey about the detrimental effects on our well-being and on our social capacities that body anxiety has for us. So, as a body activist, I've often gone back to wishing for a magic wand in the face of something that's so big, so far-reaching, and that has such an impact on our lives. I've wished for a magic solution when a dear friend tells me that her gynecologist was lecturing her on our obese society while she had her hands inside her. I was wishing for a magic solution when the little girl skipping down the road in front of me, barely as high as my belly button, stops and looks at her reflection in the car and exclaims, "Mummy, I'm so fat." I wish for a magic solution when I look in the mirror and I find myself sucking in my belly and I close my eyes at my own hypocrisy. I have to accept that I don't have a magic wand in the face of something so political and so personal. And in part, that's probably because magic wands don't exist. But we're encouraged very much to believe that they do, and they're presented to us in all shapes and sizes. A bowl of Special K, a Diet Coke, a membership at Weight Watchers. The phrase, the obesity epidemic, that's currently one of our brightest and most dangerous magic wands, because it's sold to us that if we solve this, then we're going to solve all kinds of economic and social evils, and it's used as an excuse to give us permission to discriminate against and vilify all kinds of people around us. A protein shake, a little plastic surgery, a little Botox. But then even we as body activists find ourselves guilty sometimes of trying to employ magic wands when we say phrases like, be real, or love your body. If it was as easy as just to decide that you're going to love your body, then that would indeed be pretty magical, and this talk would be really short. So I haven't found a solution that's going to suddenly make everything better from one day to the next. But what I have discovered is 3 things that help more than I thought would be possible. 3 things that allow my shoulders to drop, that help me to breathe more deeply, and that help my thoughts to break out of that panicked cycle of self-disgust and self-punishment that everyone who has a volatile relationship with their body knows only too well. Those 3 things help gradually, incrementally, but undeniably, and I'd like to share them with you. They are being part of a community, having space, and creative activism. They're not very flashy, but they help. I'd like to start by talking about community. So one of the most powerful ways to keep us locked into a dissatisfaction with our bodies is by isolating us, by making us feel that we're never quite good enough, by making us feel that admitting to struggle or confusion is a weakness, and by making us believe that the only way to get ahead in the world is by being in constant, relentless competition with those around us. Capitalism, of course, relies on us believing this, as do the companies that are trying to sell us magic wands that will make us better people. Human beings long to be part of a community. And the industries that make a profit from body hatred realize this, and they invite us to buy into their communities. For example, the community of a diet program. But they're what I call fake communities because they rely entirely on competition, on us comparing ourselves to those around us. They reaffirm the status quo, and if you fail within those communities, you're stigmatized or excluded. What I've discovered in working with anybody is a different kind of community, a community of change, of solidarity, where we stand up together and we look at ourselves in the world and we ask the question, what are the things that make us feel this way in the first place? Obesity and anorexia are extreme symptoms of a far more general sense of body anxiety that's affecting more and more of us. So what is it that's making that happen? And more importantly, how can we reinvent the rules to change things? Communities like this can achieve some quite amazing and real changes in the world. One small example from something that we did with anybody was we caused a social media storm that got this card removed from Sainsbury's stores. It's a birthday card. In another project, we are working with government to try to provide more training for healthcare visitors that work with expectant and new mothers. That training is going to provide strategies to soothe the body anxiety that mothers transmit to babies in infancy, may transmit. We're anticipating rolling out a pilot program with Better Start Bradford in 2016 for this. So any one of you can forge a community like this, and they can take all kinds of shapes and forms. A colleague of mine, for example, started at work by saying, I'm declaring this office a diet talk-free zone. And that opened up a conversation about why diet talk doesn't do anyone any good. And then further down the line, it enabled an intern to respond when she was complimented on her weight loss by saying, I lost all of this weight because my boyfriend dumped me and I'm miserable. And immediately she turned on her head the idea that being thin means that we're happier, or that weight loss is something that we should be complimenting. So becoming part of a community is one of the most radical things that we can do in the face of the exploitation of our bodies. Listening, exchanging, being in true dialogue with one another shows up the fact that what is flawed is not we as individuals, but the structures through which we interact. Such communities destabilize the myth that competition is the only way in which that we can achieve emotional, social, and economic growth. The second thing I want to talk about is space. Through working with anybody, I found space that I didn't have before. To hate, to love, to be excited, to be ambitious, and to fail. Space in which it's okay to say, in front of other people, I don't know this, or I'm confused by this, or I'm overwhelmed by this. Space in which it's okay to occupy space with your body, with your opinions, with your imagination. And we've had the privilege to see those spaces created again and again by and with the people that we work with. And some amazing, hilarious, and tragic discoveries are made in those spaces that we only make when we exchange. For example, the common problem of being a woman eating a banana in public. Or the problem of being a woman eating in public at all. Maybe most importantly, a community like that allows us a space to grieve the ideal self that we've let go of, because that is a grieving process. To hold and sit with the contradiction between battling against body hatred while at the same time not necessarily being able to love your body. Finding a space within which to do and be is necessary and life-affirming, and it happens with others. Final thing I want to talk about is creative activism. So, in the absence of a magic wand, what do we do? Sometimes it's hard to know where to start. One of the things that we did was create a website for a program called Shape Your Culture. That website offers suggestions for creative acts of resistance against those things that make us hate our bodies. This is supported by research by Dr. Eric Stice et al. And some work by Dr. Jager et al. More recently, which shows that the most effective way for us to renegotiate our relationship with our body is through actively doing something rather than just logically thinking about our situation. The suggestions that are on our website come from and with the people that we work with, and each of them has space for people to dialogue, post their experiences, and new ones are constantly being added. And as you can see, it's quite a wide range, from a breathing exercise to the experience of enjoying a meal in public, over reading suggestions or inspiration for making artwork, through to advice on organized campaigning and lobbying. These are not here as the be-all and end-all. They're there as a place from which you might like to start, if you're at a loss. To start on the process of creatively reframing the rules of the game. We don't want to give you another set of things at which to fail. These are here for you to engage with in the way that you need, starting from the place that you are today. And maybe that kind of activism is a little bit magic, because by being creative, you're making something new in the world. So finally, what I would like to leave you with. While the merchants of body hatred are looking the other way, busily inventing new wands and reasons why we should buy them, I invite you to give up on the idea of magic wands altogether. It's a difficult process. Organizations like Anybody, what they offer is not a quick fix. It requires you to let go of the dream of potions and a good witch of the north, and to engage with patience with yourself in a slower, possibly more difficult, but deeper kind of change. So if you feel yourself tangled up in a conflicted relationship with your body, have courage, because we and many others are out there with you. Find or create yourself a community of change. Find or create yourself a space in which to do and be. And in that process, maybe gradually gently start to renegotiate your relationship with your body on your terms, rather than on the terms of those who are making a profit from it. Starting from wherever you are today, and taking as much time as you need. Try it. It's free. Thank you.